The cafeteria was buzzing with chatter and clinking trays, but in the far corner sat a girl no one noticed, at least, not until the wrong boy decided to make her his target. Mia sat hunched over her book, quietly eating the sandwich her grandmother had packed that morning. She didn't wear the latest clothes. Her long black hair hung like a curtain in front of her face, and her quiet nature made her invisible to most. But to Brian Matthews, the self-proclaimed king of the sophomore class, she was the perfect victim. Brian had been looking for a way to make himself feel powerful that day. Maybe his friends hadn't laughed hard enough at his last joke. Maybe he was bored. Whatever the reason, he strutted over to Mia's table, his entourage trailing behind him like shadows. Without a word, he snatched the book from her hands. "What's this?" "Love poems. You writing to your imaginary boyfriend?" His friends roared with laughter. Mia froze, gripping the edge of the table. She'd been through this before, different bullies, same cruelty. But today, something was different. When Mia finally looked up, her eyes locked on Brian's with a calm intensity that startled him. "Give it back," she said, her voice soft but steady. He smirked and shoved her shoulder. It wasn't hard, but it was meant to humiliate her. He didn't expect her reaction. Before his friends could even register what was happening, Mia's hand shot out, twisting his wrist in a way that made him gasp. In one fluid motion, she stepped aside and pulled him off balance. Brian stumbled, crashing onto the cafeteria floor. The entire room went silent for a heartbeat, then erupted in murmurs. Brian's face flushed bright red as he scrambled to his feet, holding his wrist. "What the hell was that?" he snapped. Mia's gaze didn't waver. "It's called jitsu," she said. "And you just learned why you shouldn't put your hands on people." She didn't yell. She didn't smirk. She simply picked up her book and went back to her lunch. What Brian, and everyone else, didn't know was that Mia had been training in martial arts since she was 8. Her parents had insisted after they realized how shy she was, wanting her to have the confidence to protect herself. But Mia had never used it outside the dojo. She preferred peace over confrontation. Yet the moment Brian laid hands on her, a part of her refused to stay small anymore. For days afterward, the school buzzed with the story. Brian's friends teased him relentlessly, calling him the guy who got dropped by the quiet girl. But for Mia, the attention was both a blessing and a curse. Some students came up to thank her for standing up to Brian. They'd been targets before, too. Others whispered that she had overreacted. Even teachers seemed divided. One afternoon, Mia overheard Brian in the hallway, telling his friends he was going to teach her a real lesson after school. Fear twisted in her stomach, but she remembered her father's words, "Courage isn't the absence of." When the final bell rang, Mia walked out to the parking lot where Brian was waiting. But instead of the showdown he expected, Mia spoke first. "I don't want to fight you," she said. "But if you ever touch me or anyone else like that again, I won't hesitate." Brian stared at her, something shifting in his expression. Maybe it was respect, maybe embarrassment, maybe both. Without a word, he turned and walked away. Over time, the dynamic at school began to change. Brian stopped targeting the weaker students. Rumor had it that his own older brother, after hearing the story, had chewed him out for picking on someone smaller than him. Mia, on the other hand, found herself speaking up more, not just for herself, but for others. She joined the school's peer mentoring program and taught a few of her friends basic self-defense moves. Months later, she caught Brian watching one of her sessions from across the gym. He didn't say anything, but he didn't interrupt either. Maybe he was still embarrassed, maybe he was curious. Either way, Mia knew one thing: he had learned a lesson he'd never forget. And the shy girl who once sat alone in the corner of the cafeteria had discovered her voice, not by being louder, but by standing firmly in who she was. Her message was simple: you don't have to start a fight to end one, but you can always stand your ground. If you want, I can also break this into storyboard-style paragraph prompts so it's ready for a narrator to record for YouTube. That way, each scene hits with maximum emotional and visual impact. Would you like me to do that next?